Hey guys, it's me Ruby, welcome back to another video. So today I thought that I would do a storytime video while I get ready about the time that I was best friends with a compulsive liar. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get on with the video. Okay, I'm kind of hoping that my glasses keep my hair up on my face, but yeah. So I went into college a year behind my age because I did a year at sixth form. So I was a year older than this person. We'll just call her girl, okay? So I met her on the induction day, and you know, I'm a very shy person, so I didn't really speak to people at this point, and it came up something about Doctor Who or something, and I like Doctor Who, and then she made a comment about Doctor Who, so I was like, yep, cool, I can be friends with her, no problem. So we got talking and everything, and then when it actually came time to go to college, I spoke to her, and yeah, we were friends. So for anybody that doesn't know, college in the UK is 2 years, and it's between the ages of 16 to 18, so it's not university or anything like that. This all happened in the first year, bear in mind as well. I very quickly ditched the whole situation by the end of first year, in the summer. So the first kind of thing that sparked my concern was the fact that she was dating this boy, but it was a long distance relationship, and I don't think they'd ever met. We were in town on our lunch break, and there was this boy that she fancied the look of. And I was like, girl, you're in a relationship. And at the time I was also in a relationship, so I kind of had that I feel like anybody has that kind of view anyway, any decent person, of to not do anything, but you know, I very much had that sort of girl no. So she was just like, hey, I think he's cute, I want to get his number. And I was like, girl, you're in a relationship. She was like, well, he doesn't have to know her current boyfriend. And I was like, whoa. I was like, yes, he does. That was the first red flag, because I'm sorry, but she was talking about cheating in a serious way. And even if it was just haha, silly, you don't do that. So anyway, she always used to also kind of make comments about my boyfriend, and that felt really funny to me, and I didn't like it. I'm quite a jealous kind of person when it comes to relationships, and you know, he's my boyfriend, fuck off. But she used to just the way that she'd talk about him made me feel really uncomfortable, and I didn't like it, and I brought this up to her so many times, and she just kind of argued with me about it, and then apologized, and then it just became this huge unnecessary thing. So we kind of just went along through the year after each thing kind of happened, and just kind of ignored it each time, which, you know, probably shouldn't have happened, but you know, trying to give the benefit of the doubt. So another thing that happened was we were doing this project. My best friend that also, we were kind of like a little group of 4, and she had this idea. I'm not gonna like expose like what it was, but it was close to her heart. Something had like happened that like wasn't great, and she'd kind of like drawn an idea from that, and she'd been struggling for ideas anyway, and this kind of like situation happening like brought that on. So she had this idea and like told us all about it. This other friend decided that she was going to steal the idea. So I was messaging her being like, oh, like, yo, like, what's your ideas? And she was like, oh, I've got like these 3 ideas, and 2 of them were her own, and then this one was my other friend's ideas. So I immediately messaged my other friend and was like, yeah, bro, she's trying to steal your idea, like, you know, this isn't good. And my other friend was like, rightly so, very upset, very annoyed about it. So I was like, don't even worry, like, I'm going to basically tell her, you know, I'm basically going to have a bit of a go and sort of be like, you know, this isn't right, like, what are you doing, sort of thing. So I did, and she basically like argued with me about it and was like, nah, and like sort of blamed me for being like rude, and I was just like, bro, you're the one stealing her idea, like, that is your own fault. So we carried on, and she kind of ignored me for a few days, and you know, lovely, and then she kind of made this thing in college being like, I feel like you don't like me, and I was just like, well, you did kind of steal one of our friends' ideas and then like have a go at me for calling you out on it. So, but then we kind of like pushed it under the bus and, you know, all of that. And then she made this whole like drastic story about her ex and how her ex was supposedly like harassing her, like asking for her jumper back, and this friend was being like, I don't have it, like, and she would like scream and be like really like dramatic about it, and it was like this whole thing, and she was playing victim. And then like a little bit later, she like was shit talking this ex, and then she was wearing this jacket, and she was like, oh yeah, like my ex's jacket, blah blah blah. So I just went, what, the one that you didn't have? Safe to say she didn't really comment any further on that. It was kind of like left kind of awkwardly, and I was just like, bro, I see what you're doing, don't even. I'd been friends with people like this before, so I was like, you know, I know exactly like what she's doing. So that happened, and then we kind of, she used to also like shit talk my 2 other friends in the group to me like constantly, and then be really nice to them, like to their face, which was crazy. So she was just kind of being like all round a bad person. So then summer came round, I think, and me and my boyfriend had broken up, and I was taking it like really hard. Like it wasn't fun, and I like needed people to be with over the summer like break, and there was like a whole thing, like my mental health was like horrific, and she kind of like, she was like the person that knew out of like my friends, and yeah, it was just a bit tragic to say the least. So we ended up like talking to some people that were her friends that like were in the same class at college, but like I never really had spoken too much to, and like his group of friends, and we would like hang out a little bit. And then this whole thing came around of like trying to catch out one of his friends, so we both like were talking to this guy at the same time and like trying to catch him out or something. I don't still really know what was going on, I'll be honest. But basically they ended up then getting together, And it was kind of weird from the start, like a weird way to kind of start dating, but like sure. And then something happened while I was at work that like made me sort of spiral, and I was just like, I'm going home to an empty house, can I call you? I don't feel good. And so we called and everything, and then she kind of like knew, she did know why I was like asking to call. And she basically was like, oh yeah, I've got to go. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, you know, if you've got to, then that's fine. And then she left the call, hung up to go and call this other boy. And it was in the group that I was in on the... She called on Discord and I was in the Discord group. So she literally hung up my call when I needed someone to speak to be in a call with her boyfriend that I was in the group with. So I knew. We kind of kept hanging out over the summer. My mental health would like not be great, and yeah, and then something happened that like wasn't good, and she basically made the whole situation about herself, and it was like, girl, and like still to this day that rubs me the wrong way. Like, it is one of the like worst things that she did. It was really bad. And then she would go around saying that it was a lie to people, and you know, that is not on. So I found that out, that she was going around saying it was a lie, in the second year of college. But yeah, it was just really dramatic. And then in the second year of college, she didn't really show up to college very much. And it was like, and me and this boy got back together. He is my current boyfriend. So I blocked her. So then one of like the people who he went out with that summer, that he didn't really like her, but he was like talking to her to get information. So he messaged me and was like, you know, she wants to be your friend again, blah blah blah, like whatever. And I just was like, respectfully, I don't want anything to do with her. Like, what she did wasn't nice, you know, and you know, I'm not forgiving that. And he was like, yeah, okay, fair. And she would, in college, she would try to take like the best friend. I know that sounds really childish, but like she'd be all like nice to her and be like, oh hi, like, and I was just like, get away, like fuck off. It used to really piss me off because I was like, she's trying to be besties with you, and it was like really pissing me off. But she kind of got her karma, because by the end of the 2 years, on like the last day of college, everyone was like just hated her, and everyone kind of just spilled every bit of information that everybody had. So like the people that she'd been friends with over the second year in the class, they hated her now because a whole situation had happened with them and her. So, you know, everyone was kind of just like, yeah, she's bad news. And it was just kind of crazy to hear, you know, what she had told them about like mine and my friend's experience, and then also their own experience. And it was just kind of crazy to just have that just there. It was a bit wild, I'll be honest. I'm gonna go wipe off this lip stain and then I'll be back. Okay, that's now all done. So basically, I think the police got involved at one point with like the other people's experience, but like I don't know too much about the whole situation to like make a comment on that, in all honesty. But I just think it's kind of crazy the lengths that people will go to. Like, what did she even think that she was going to achieve is my like biggest question. Like, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope it was entertaining and also learn from it. If you have a bad feeling about somebody, it's probably going to be right. So definitely step away from them if you can, because I didn't, and it just kept progressively getting worse. So yeah, thank you so much for watching today's video. Please like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm trying to reach
Please subscribe
500
for more
subscribers, so please, it would mean so much to me if you subscribed. And yeah, and I'll see you next week with another video. Bye guys.